Testing. All right. All right. We have 3 people watching in the chat. If you can hear me, can you please type something? You can hear me. Can you please? Ooh, there. Type something. Seems like audio is working then. Let's start. So as I mentioned, I am doing a second attempt at brewing Vajra's very delicious coffee, the Ethiopia Bench Magic Geisha, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Straight out of the freezer, I do freeze my single doses in this thing if I'm about to brew them in the following week. Otherwise, I usually keep them vacuum sealed in a bigger bag. I can hear the water is already boiling. While that's going on there, let's set the dose. So I am going to use Mugen Switch Pulsar. So for those of you who have a Switch, I highly suggest you consider replacing that glass bypassy V60 with the Mugen if you want to reduce the bypass, which makes it perform closer to a pulsar. And also the plastic has better thermals. So it's quite easy to remove from the Switch, that is. From the Mugen, it takes a bit of effort to remove this from its base. And if you do that, you can take the glass base and the original glass dripper of the Switch, combine it with the base of the Mugen, and you can gift it to someone who's new to pour over, and keep the superior combination of these two. So as observed, I believe it was Sam who did point out very rightly that there is there's a little chamber in there. I think it's up to 4 or 5 ml that'll get trapped there, but in my experience, it hasn't mattered much as far as taste goes. So yep, I'm gonna attach this. I'm still using the T90 Cathec, the same favorite paper. It's okay that it's not a perfect fit for the O2 because the brew water won't rise above that level anyway. So I'm just going to check on my water. Oh, I haven't even ground. Maybe I'll start grinding. Sorry, new to this. Enjoy some grinding on a ZP6. So I'm going to try a bigger dose this time. This is going to be around 15 grams. There you go. I did try 1 to 15. I'm going to go a bit higher, and I'm not afraid that we'll over extract because the immersion part of this hybrid brew that I'm about to do is not so effective at extraction anyway. So 15, all right. Oops. Okay, For the setting, I did do 5.0, but this is a bit of a bigger brew, so I'm going to increase the setting from 5 yesterday to something like 5.5. All right, that's 5.5. And of course, you need to put the beans into the chamber. That's a very important part. Otherwise, that's the downside. It won't work if the beans are in the catch cup. So here's the grind 5.5. Apologies for the lack of editing or production value in this. So I do want to get better at this, so any feedback that you can leave in the comments would be highly appreciated. There's that very wonderful smell of Vagus beans. Really excited to try this again and get my wife to try it for the first time. I very quickly finished the brew yesterday. Okay, checking if there are no more. Sometimes there's a straggler. So what you can do is, of course, with your clean hands, you can just break it, put it back in, and the ZP6, yeah, that's one of the downsides of this. Oops, wow. Really hit that. Okay, now it's really gone. Okay, that's close enough. We were at 14.9 a bit earlier. Ground's already getting the brew water. I'm gonna set this up. The cool thing about this is for preheating, you can of course close the switch and let the water sit there. And as you're swirling it, you can get a better adhesion to the walls while also heating the brew. I'm going to show what that looks like. So there, you can just do that. The vessel is getting hot. The paper is getting rinsed. And now I'm going to dump this. Okay, so first step is the blue. We're going to do bloom with the switch closed. So the, what's it called? Tsubomi, the volcano is not so important here, but I'm gonna do it anyway. The water cooled down a bit, so I'm just gonna bring the temperature back up to 88, which is the recommended temperature of the roaster batch. All right, 86, almost there. 87.1, 87.8, and 88. So the pore structure, I'll explain a bit. We're gonna bloom with 60, which is 4 times the 15-gram dose. And then we're going to have a second pour up to 150, and the final pour is going to end at 250. So 50 to 50, a bit more water, but I explained earlier why that should be okay. So I'm going to pair it with this, just to show that you really don't need a nice kettle for this approach, but of course it'll still help. I forgot the vessel for the brewer once this is done. Let me just get one. Actually, we can just use this glass here. It doesn't have anything in it. Other than, okay, we can use this one. All right. That should fit, right? Okay. I'm starting the brew. So we have the switch closed. This is a closed bloom, pouring up to 260. I'm using the middle part of the drip assist. So what you can do is you can just dump the water. So it's a closed loop. I'm going to open it just a bit, let it, drip some, to show that most of the coffee has been saturated. Give it an aggressive swirl, right? And then once that is done, okay, let it pour all the way through. And then once it's all done, like at around 45 seconds, I'm going to start the first pour up to 150 as mentioned earlier. So starting at the center and then to the side. 150. Okay, that's good. Again, we're going to dump that. And what you want to do here is swirl, just to really level the bed, and then just let it pour. You can optionally let it steep a bit, but in my particular approach here, I don't think that is needed. So I'm going to wait for the water level to reach just above the bed where I could see it, and then I'm going to close the switch and do my final pour. Okay, I can see the bed. I'm going to close that now. I'm doing my final pour up to 250 now. Okay. That's okay. Some of the water is in the device here. That's fine. Again, swirl. All right. Once it's settled, let it drain. Smells good. And for a 15-gram dose, I like to end somewhere around 3 minutes. So we're almost there. All right. That's around 3 minutes. Closing the switch. Oops. Actually, because it's a switch. Oh, there, perfect fit. Okay. So We stopped at around 3 minutes. Now let's try this. Next time we'll do a TDS extraction yield check. If you're interested in that, let me know. I usually do, but it might be too cumbersome, like doing this all on video. Just giving it some swirls. All right, trying it out when I'm hot. Still there. This is an even gentler, more tea-like, which is expected. We did use more water relative to yesterday, which was 1 to 15. This is closer to 1 to 16.66666. Still there, still good. Now that's the end of our brew. For the initial impressions, I think they're still the same. I won't wait for this to cool and describe the tastes. I did that in the previous video. Also, the roaster's notes are on the description. I'll add it to this one as well. But yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for watching this rough, uncut live stream of Badges Coffee. Like, we're setting a trend here. Like, with every episode, the Badges beans that we use all the time, I'll have to arrange that with Badge. But anyway, have a good lunch and cheers.